Satanism represents a form of controlled selfishness. This does not mean that you never do anything for anyone else. If you do something to make someone for whom you care happy, his happiness will give you a sense of gratification. I think I was on Tumblr like 2 or 3 years ago. A picture came up and it was the 11 Satanic statements of the earth, and I read through them and I just found it really interesting, and like I'd never heard about it before. Like obviously people mention like Satanism like every now and again, but I didn't really know what it was, and then I saw these statements and I was really interested, so I did a bit more research online, and then I ordered the Satanic Bible and I got it and went through it in like 2 days, and it was just, I was hooked, and I was like then trying to like buy up any kind of book written by Anton LaVey, and I was like, I'm so interested. Reading the Satanic Bible, there's a big bit about psychic vampires and how they are negative people in your life. They're very, very selfish, so they wouldn't do things for you. They'd make you feel bad and make you feel guilty and make you want to do things for them. But surprisingly, when you need something, when you need help, when you need assistance, they're not there, they're gone. You first read it and it's just interesting to read, and then things start going in your brain and you start thinking about the relationships that you have. You start to think, is this a one-sided thing? Are we friends? Is it just me that's giving everything, or is it them that's just taking? I think the first time you read it is just like reading for enjoyment, and then you really start to think, and I think that's what I really like about Satanism, is that it's not just, you don't just read it at like face value, you read into it and look into it and it makes you think. I think that's what I really like about it. Okay, so yeah, there's 3 types of rituals. The compassionate ritual, so like someone close needs uplifting in some kind of way, then you would use that. You have a sexual ritual, where if you want to be with someone like sexually, obviously, then you would use that one. And then a destruction ritual, so if someone's wronged you in some way or done something negative towards you, then you would use that ritual. Okay, so I'm going to show you a ritual for destruction. So to start off with, you have to be dressed for ritual, and I'm already in the outfit that I wear. And then the next thing I'll do is light the candles. And the next thing you do is you ring the bell, and you do it to all 4 corners, like north, south, east and west. So now you'd read the invocation to Satan. In the name of Satan, the ruler of the earth, the king of the world, I command the forces of darkness to bestow their infernal power upon me. Open wide the gates of hell and come forth from the abyss to greet me as your sister and friend. Grant me the indulgences of which I speak. Then after you've read the invocation to Satan, you read off the infernal names, the ones that are relevant to your ritual. So for destruction, you'd use ones like Loki or Azazel or Samael, ones that are like linked with destruction and rage and things like that. Then after this, you drink from the chalice, and you'd fill the chalice with, it doesn't necessarily have to be wine, but something that is like something that's pleasing to you. I haven't got anything in there at the moment, but yeah, so you take a drink from the chalice. Okay, and then the next thing you do is you use a sword. I haven't got a sword, so I'll just use a knife, and you'll point to the 4 like corners again, but this time you call forth the respective princes of hell. So I call forth Satan from the south, Leviathan from the west, Belial from the north, and Lucifer from the east. Okay, so the next step is to read aloud the invocation for whichever ritual you're doing. Behold the mighty voices of my vengeance, smash the stillness of the air and stand as monoliths of wrath upon a plain of writhing serpents. I am become as a monstrous machine of annihilation to the festering fragments of the body of she who would detain me. It repenteth me not that my summons doth ride upon the blasting winds, which multiply the stings of my bitterness, and great black slimy shapes shall rise from brackish pits, and vomit forth their pustulence into her puny brain. So once you read from that, then you would do whatever your ritual, like what you desire to do. So as this one's destruction, I would use a voodoo doll. So then I would take some pins and I'd stab the voodoo doll, and so you do to the voodoo doll what you want to happen to your subject. So like the person I did had a chronic illness and it was within her stomach, so if I wanted that to be played upon, then I'd stab in the stomach to represent that. Or for something more like emotional and psychological, you'd stab in the head. If you want others to see the person for who they really are, then you'd go for like the eyes, as like it's symbolic. Yeah, you would generally just stab the voodoo doll wherever you want the person to be affected. And so it's through this part that you release your rage and your anger towards that person, and then at the end you would simply just say, and so it is done, and that would symbolise the end of the ritual. I think the first time people started like giving me abuse and stuff, it was scary and like it makes your heart go and you start like getting worried, but now I'm just like, it doesn't faze me, I'm just like, go away, like you're annoying. If it's like a kid, I'm like, I don't mind, like you're young, you don't get it, whatever. But if it's like, when you get like groups of like really chavvy, scummy boys and they're just like, oh, emo weirdo, and I'm just like I'll just swear at them, I'm like, get away. I think the difference between someone like myself and a normal person is our view on other people. We generally don't care how people perceive us, but I think other people are worried about what society thinks of them. I'm going to meet up with my boyfriend and we're going to go to the graveyard. I really like spending times in cemeteries and graveyards. I'm fascinated by death as a whole. I just think it's interesting. I think it's because it's such a taboo subject that it's exciting. And I like the whole aura around a graveyard. It's quiet, it's slightly eerie, and I really like that. But it's also like a happiness. I think I find beauty in things that are more macabre, and so I just think it's such a pretty place. And just you've got the gravestones, and you've got like the flowers, and you've got like the offerings that people leave people, and it's just, I don't know, it's a really nice feeling. I like the weeping angels, like in Doctor Who. Yeah. They used to terrify me. I'll take paper, I'll take some crayons or whatever, and I'll like rub over it to get like the prints and stuff. So not even necessarily like the words engraved on it, just the textures of the gravestones and stuff. And it's a way of taking part of that back with you, so you can take part of that emotion and that feeling with you. Like show you all a new hobby. See you